Hello and welcome. It is the 23rd day of October 2017. My name is Derek and welcome to a crypto trading video. Everything you do is within your own risk and your own reward. The daily Bitcoin chart as at a little after 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Pacific, at 5,911, a second consecutive day coming back down to this previous area in the area of the 18 average of highs, barely undercutting yesterday's lows. It seems as if it closes around this area, well, there will be 4 consecutive days in which the close was in the same ballpark area within the sideways consolidation. And here there was much larger of a range, but this was 6 consecutive days. Okay. With the Bitcoin gold that is coming into play, the times are a lot different from when I read it the first time. It's not convenient for myself. Let's take a look at it. And it states if you have a Bitcoin balance on Bittrex during the Bitcoin Gold snapshot block, 491,407, occurring approximately at October 23rd, 11 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 6 o'clock a.m. UTC. That was the time I was planning to wake up for, so now you lovely Europeans that live in that time zone have that one yourself. You will be additionally created the equivalent amount of Bitcoin Gold on a 1-to-1 basis. So whatever you have is the exact same match you're going to get. This is the Bitcoin Gold, which is being traded right now on Yobit. And right now the bid-ask offers about 0.088 right now. A little over 8%. If you sell what you got now, you would get basically, as I would look at it, an 8% dividend along the way. You know what? That's not bad. That is not bad. It's satisfactory. Before I look at it, if you're going to get like, and who knows what it's going to be like later on. Yobit's a smaller exchange. Wait till later on when it gets traded. If you get 10, 20% plus, then that becomes really good to really amazing. Because if you can find out one day, oh, by the way, you're a trader, want to increase your bankroll 20% today? Oh, sure, yeah, why not? 10%, okay, that's good. But as I was saying before, when you start to get these 5%, 3%, definitely 1%, the lower these numbers go, well, if the price goes to 0.05, 0.03, 0.01, it becomes very little as far as a gain towards your portfolio or that of how much free money you will be getting. This is the HIT BTC site. And we're looking at B2X BTC. It says on the top, Segwit 2X is live on HIT BTC. Trade the futures against Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the dollar. And this is the future against that of Bitcoin. This code has now been trading for about a week. This is day number 7 on it. Price action started right where it is now at about 0.2. It had a congestion area for a few days with the lower end at about 13%. And here we stand, basically 20%. Of the price of Bitcoin. Now these are the future markets that are going to be moving wildly, and this one is going to take a decent amount of time from this point that these markets are going to move wildly, but there definitely seems to be a little optimism. So this would really put a big twist into how the alternate coins are going to be trading. Because before within Bitcoin Gold, when August the 1st rolled around, I think it was 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time when Bittrex did the snapshot, at that point, the alternate coins were rising higher, higher, and higher. And I was predicting that would happen several days beforehand, because follow the money, follow the human actions. What are they going to do? And obviously, a lot of them who wanted the free money had no choice but to sell what alternate coins they had to get the maximum amount of Bitcoin they possibly could. And these people most likely want to hold their dashes and Ethereums and whatever altcoin you can name, and they realize they can just buy it back in. So that's why I expected, and why it did occur, that when the fork happened, Bitcoin had a small move down, and all the alts started to jump. It got to the point where, say, we'll just use an example of one of the alternate coins now, and I think Ethereum would work well. And within this daily time frame, I mean, it's been going down and down and down, something you would expect for something like this. But let's just hypothetically assume there was no Segwit 2x, and this was going to be, at least within the near term, the only fork type situation you're going to get. And let's just say this is the market. We're, say, hours away from the event. You might expect within that time frame for the market maybe to fall maybe down to here. Let's just say to 44. So it was 469, goes to 440, and it's then, in this case, 1 or 2 seconds before that snapshot. Then, about 5 or 6 seconds later, the price action might go from 43 to 47. Maybe 45 seconds after that, it's 48 to 49. And maybe 5-10 minutes after that, it might be at 54, 56. There's going to be a lot of those types of moves. But how much will actually occur within this one? And I look at it, well, if I'm going to be getting a good amount for the Bitcoin, that new one coming in, then I realize all I got left for my trading capacity till that time is day trades and anything I can get out before that point. So anything I see that I can profit within a day, 2 or 3. So it doesn't really motivate me right now to want to get into alternate coins and out of Bitcoins after the fork. And more so is because I got the LITECOIN chart up, that a lot of these indicators, some of them are showing that we got a long ways to go lower, with LITECOIN being one of them. As I've been mentioning, breaking down below this support, there could be some decent sized moves. This price is at action not seen, well, at least on this view, if you can see it, and you should, the first day of this chart in here. This is the last time. We're at levels not seen since April, priced in Bitcoin. And now that I look at this on the weekly, I say to myself, this thing now looks as if it's going to be making a move somewhere in here, but probably in the 60s. I would assume such. I'll be looking to buy at 60 if that's the case. But when we're looking at Segwit 2x and the fact that it's only going to be about a week or so from now, it makes it a very interesting decision to what should be done. ETC, on the other hand, already broke down, and it's going to an area which I consider where you would buy on weakness. It's on the daily time frame. I have a lot of periods in here, but the weekly chart doesn't look well. This is where I'd want a 2 or 3 day chart, but they don't have it on here. So I'm going to use it this way. But the head and shoulders pattern played through. So therefore, you expect on a break of the neckline to reach the next key critical point of a decent leg lower. And this is pretty much it. The key point is this level where it came from. So this is something where you're like, oh, is it a good time to buy? And without knowing any news, I'm like, start buying. Yeah. Buy a little bit. This is the upper end of this current range. I would think within this move, it could come down a little more, but keyword is just a little, maybe to the 0.0015, and that's only a down move of about 13%. But who's to say that this market isn't just going to keep going straight down and retest the December and March lows? Because that could be the equivalency of LITECOIN, for example, is going to spend a few more days within the downtrend. that this could just do the same similar kind of pattern. Let's move on next to Neo, which is showing a very bearish setup within the line that it's currently at now, at around 460 handle. Since this break lower, or the rally from, making the lower high at the area which it came from, the 18 average test in here was unable to make a move higher. Thus, it had a decent red candle down day, resisting at close to the 18 average band, back down to the key level where you expect to get a bounce, and you did, to the 18 average of lows. And this key area, the expectation of such. Now it's back again. It's even had a little bit of a bounce again. Oh, it's even littler, if that's a word, than the last time. But again, to the 18 average. And it doesn't take long to get back down to where it came from. Well, it's already there. That if this 40 handle gives in, I think you'd be very lucky if all it bottoms to is this 30 or 32 previous resistance level. Here's Ripple, and it's broken through this support level. It really didn't get much of a bounce from that point. Nothing really. You would have thought that after coming back here again, you would have at least had a bounce to the 18 average of lows, maybe to this little support level, upwards to even this one. Maybe it still even will, but it's not looking the greatest. The 18 average lows is getting lower and lower. I'm still not finding any optimism for why this thing is bottoming, because when I see so many breakdown patterns where I realize it's not at a bottom location, ETC of course being the rare example, there's a lot of downside, I think, risk still here short term. VTC or Vertcoin next on the list. This area of previous resistance from June and July was hit today. Not the 18 average and not this level as well. I got out of it around here yesterday as I'm looking for Bitcoin Gold. Market was already extended for the up move. I get very leery on these beautiful looking breakout patterns when they're involved in an environment when it's such is not doing so good. So I would think when something is good, making breakouts, it's more likely to resist in areas where it's supposed to, and forego or postpone any future rally attempts later on, I think is more likely as well. I was even surprised that there was even a nice little pattern when I seen it, because when I seen this a few days ago and everything was so bearish, I was like, wow, this looks almost like Bitcoin-ish against the dollar, because I look at Bitcoin against the US dollar extremely bullish, and everything else is extremely bearish against Bitcoin. Next up, OMG or OMEZ Go, which is a few days to work with on the daily chart, but really not many. As after this sideways congestion for about a week, where it consolidated at these fast, quick, low areas, it has now resisted such, so the bear market continues, and every time you break a key level, don't be surprised to have a fast move. And decent sized red candle here, don't be surprised if you go at least down to here if that level gets broken. So then I'm probably just going to keep playing the next week or so, sort of like I have recently, in that of holding the Bitcoin, looking to possibly get into any type of day trading places if possible, keeping my eyes open for the time to buy altcoins. And when the Bitcoin Gold comes out, I'm probably going to be more apt to sell it, even though I do risk losing out on larger gains by holding some or all of them. But you know what? Risk reward, because if you don't and you hold, risking for larger gains. So if you go back to say Yobit, which now has the ratio at about 9.1%, well then I would look at it as an, okay, glad to get it. But if I were to hold and do nothing, what happens if it goes to 0.01 or 0.02, say 3 weeks later? So there's, no matter which decision you make, whether you want to buy it or sell it, or buy it or sell it or hold it rather, there's risks and rewards, positive and negative, to each play. Take a look at this on the half-hour time frame. Very, very choppy at this level. However, with what I am seeing within the choppiness, after the last break below the 18 average of lows, you resist above the highs, come back to the band, high or low, make a new high, which matched up with this one. And now it's making a move back to the 18 average, back to previous level. Short term, you can say that's a buy spot. Maybe if you're looking for risk reward, you can say, okay, I'll put maybe a stop in here if that's what your game is. Maybe look to take profits here. Maybe I think it's going to make a higher high. Let me take profits at about 61. Or maybe you just want to add your position every so often, and it's a decent enough time. But the point of the matter is it has came back. I'm always looking for it to come back to the 18 average and the previous key levels almost every time in any price correction, and that's what it has just done short term. And I'm guessing now for myself, because if the fork is happening at 2 a.m. Eastern time, I have to ask myself, how long is it going to take before I can trade these things? Last time with Bitcoin Cash, again, it was 8:30 in the morning when the snapshot occurred. Several hours after that, handful, the Bitcoin Cash was in the account, but it wasn't tradable. Shortly after that, it was. I think it was somewhere early afternoon, or about 4 hours or so after the fact. I'm not too sure if I'm going to put my alarm, set my alarm clock up here and there and just see how the market is, or just sleep and just hope I get for the best. Because I look at different things like, okay, if I check to see at 4:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's 4 a.m., I must be lonely. Actually, that's a song I think by Matchbox 20. And no, it's not Matchbox 20. It is that of Our Lady Peace that sings the song 4 a.m. I think it's at 3 a.m. I must be lonely now when I'm thinking of that song. I love Our Lady Peace, but that's neither here nor there for this video. And if you wanted to know what my favorite song is, it would be, this is probably my top 10 song of all time, Clumsy by Our Lady Peace, 1997 song. But I look at it this way. Say I were to get up at 4 o'clock and I make my sell, maybe I sell at 0.08 or whatever. And who knows what I'm going to wake up to, or what the price will be at, like, say 8 or 9 in the morning. Maybe it'll be higher and I could get a better gain. Maybe it'll work out, it'll be lower. But I don't feel confident about Bitcoin, gold in the short term, the midterm, or the long term. And I've heard a lot of people sharing the exact same thoughts that I have. So it's going to be an interesting ride. The thing just might plummet really badly over the weeks and months to come. But I look at this like a dividend, as a stock would have. You hold it. A day comes, here's your free money. Thank you. And that's how I'm looking at it as now. I got my Bitcoin. They're going to give me my free money. Thank you. Let's turn it into Bitcoin. Let's move on. And it's time to move on from this video because we're close to the 20-minute mark and I'm pretty much thinking, I got nothing else to say right now. But I will later on. And thank you for tuning in. Everything you do, obviously your own risk, your own reward. But it's time for me to get out of here and take care. Bye-bye.